Yo guys, what's up? It's Saku here from Team Chaos Cosplay and welcome back to another one of my tutorials. So this time I'm going to be doing a tutorial about Tracer's goggles. Now I have this one with the red visor because I did a Christmas version, well my own Christmas version of Tracer, of which you can see the picture here. It was super fun, I really enjoyed it, but because I got so many questions about how to make the goggles, I decided to do a tutorial about it. So basically all the materials that I used for this tutorial are available at Cosplay Shop Select Style. I'll put the link down below, and any other things that you should get for this are really easy to find online, except for the glass part, which is from Habercraft. I will also put a link below, but I will come back to that in the video later as well. Alright, so enough talking, let's get to it! Materials that we will be using are 4X aka Sintra, preferably of 3mm, clear craft plastic acetate film, foam of 3mm, a Stanley knife, a cutting board, albacene, industrial glue, a Dremel, sanding paper, Plasti-Dip, paint of white and black, and of course an elastic. Hola! Okay, so we will start off with a pattern for the Tracer goggles. When you draw it out, make sure that it fits well on your face. Alright, so once we have the pattern, we are going to be drawing it out on 4X. Now the 4X that I used this time was a 4X of 2mm. Now I highly recommend to take one of 3mm. It might not look like a lot of difference, but it's a little bit sturdier and it makes the goggles look a little better. However, I didn't have 3mm, so I used 2mm, which works fine, but I just suggest to take a little bit of a bigger one. So we start out drawing the pattern onto 4X. So after having drawn the pattern onto the Sintra, we're going to be cutting it out with the Stanley knife. Now what I personally do is I score the lines first and then I retrace it with the Stanley knife because it makes it easier to cut it out. So as you can see, the black parts, they come up a little to give it more of a three-dimensional look, and in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to cut these pieces out on the Sintra as well and later stick onto the frame so that we can recreate this kind of like depth into the glasses. Alright, so let's cut these pieces out as well. Now the goggles have a padding on the inside. On my old glasses I used foam, which I'm going to be doing here as well. As you can see, I totally wore it out. The Plasti-Dip even came off. That's because I wore it way too much. But I'm going to show you what I did on these glasses as well. So in order to do the padding on the inside, we will be using foam. Here I used 2mm. Again, I recommend 3mm foam. You can get all of this stuff at Cosplay Shop Select Style, of which the link is below. So the first step is to draw out the same pattern onto the foam in order to have it match with the 4X pattern. So the next step is something I had to learn by trial and error. The glasses on the goggles, they get foggy really fast, and in order to avoid this, what I did was put an extra layer of foam on the inside so that your face is not directly squashed against the goggles and it has some space to breathe. So we're going to put a small line of extra foam padding on the forehead so that there is space between the goggles and your face. So after having drawn out everything on the foam, we're going to be cutting it with the Stanley knife. As you can see, the little piece that is going to be overlapping the foam is in the middle. That is going to be placed on the part on the forehead. So after cutting it out, the first thing we're going to do is to stick that little extra piece on the forehead. We're going to be using industrial glue for this. You can use any glue. I highly recommend industrial glue though because it will stick on there and never let go. Alright, so next up is the glass part of the goggles. Now I have been dubbing for what to use for this for a long time, and then I came across something called clear craft plastic acetate film. Basically, it's just a plastic sheet with color. You can get it in any hobby store. or even on a shop online called Habercraft. They have any color you would like, and it's just the easiest way to go. It's super flexible and it's very cheap. So yeah, I decided to go for this. In order to start with it, you have to draw the pattern onto this sheet as well. Alright, so the next step for this is to heat up the 4X so that we can form the glasses. Now in order to do that, you have to equally heat up the whole piece so that it will form nicely, and form it along your face so that it will have that structure. However, the reason why I like 3mm 4X better than 2mm is because even though it's a small difference, it is a lot sturdier and it will stay into its form when you heat it up a lot better. However, 2mm is super flexible, so it's also really easy. If you just put the elastics on, it will form along your face. Alright, so the next step is to stick on the pieces that we cut it out before that are going to function as the black pieces on the goggles. In order to stick it on, I used the industrial glue again. Now, of course, a video with Saku wouldn't be a video with Saku if it wouldn't involve sanding. Heck yes, in this video we're using sanding as well. So basically what we're going to be doing is make the goggles look even and nice, and we're going to be doing that by sanding the both parts together. I showed this in my previous tutorial as well. If you sand it well, it will look like one piece. And more sanding, and more sanding, and more sanding. I promise you guys that if you follow my tutorials, you're going to be an expert at sanding. So next up, we want to recreate the smooth transition from the black into the white, which is like a little bit slanted. And in order to do that, we're going to be using the Albenstein, which is some kind of putty, and you're just going to fill the two parts in so that you can later on recreate a transition that goes a little bit slanted into the glasses. And as we're waiting for the Albenstein to dry, we're going to be dremeling the padding on the inside of the goggles. We want to do this because you want to recreate a sort of rounded edge to it so that it doesn't stick out on the glasses, and also on the inside it will look nice. Alright, so by now the Albenstein has dried and it is our turn again to be sanding. Now we're going to be sanding it this way that it will look slanted, and it makes a nice transition from the black into the white later on. Next up, we're going to be using spray filler. We're going to be covering the complete frame of the glasses with the spray filler. This is also to make it more smooth, but also to help the paint attach better to the frame. Next up is covering the inside padding with Plastidip. Plastidip is kind of like a plastic coat, and since it has to be black already, this is perfect for it. But before you start spraying, make sure you shake it.
Damn right, it's better than yours, I could teach you, but I have to charge. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours, I could teach you, but I have to charge my
Well, that's enough shaking. Let's just spray the Plastidip onto the foam. Now, the reason why we use Plastidip is because if you would use normal black paint, it would start to tear once you try to bend it a little bit, while as Plastidip is just basically a coat of plastic on top, and it will just go along with the flexibility of the foam. Now dry, dry, dry. So next up, we're going to be painting it with a normal white paint. I use that as a base color. Later I'll be throwing up a different one, but I'll be showing that in a second. Now this paint is the one that's going to make it look pretty. It's called White Pearl, and it has this really shiny pearl-ish color to it, and it will make the glasses just look super awesome. So once the paint has dried, which is like the most difficult part for me because I have zero patience, you start to indicate where the black parts are going to be by using a painter's tape to mark off the area that cannot be black, and later on we're going to paint those side pieces black. So to paint the side pieces, I'm using a color called flat black because it's nice and pretty and you need the color black. And once that dries, it will look like this. Yay! Okay, so the next part is to stick on the plastic that is going to be functioning as glass. Make sure to really fit it well, because once you stick it on with industrial glue, it will not let go and it will be a waste of the plastic. Now before we can attach the padding on the inside, we have to think about the elastic. Now there's two different ways to attach the elastics. I'm telling you guys this because I personally do it different, that has to do with comfort. Because basically what you can do is just attach a piece of elastic that you can pull over your head, under your wig or over your wig, and like that it will go like real goggles. However, what I did is because I take my goggles off a lot and it will either ruin your wig or you have to take off your wig every time you take them off, I basically cut out two pieces of elastic and I sew them into my wig, which I attached little magnets to, and then I did the same to the glasses, attaching small pieces of elastic which had magnets as well. And like that I would be able to click on the glasses every time, and when I had to take them off, they easily clicked off. So basically I'll be showing you the way I did it with the little magnets because I was using these goggles for the winter edition of Tracer, so I would have to use them on a convention as well. But either way is fine. I just want to show you guys the way I did it because of comfort, but if you do it the other way, it's perfectly fine as well. It's a lot easier even. So yeah, whatever floats your boat. So once you have attached the elastic, it's time to attach the padding, and that's just an easy job, just sticking it on with industrial glue again. Make sure that it fits on there nicely. Alright, so lastly we attach the magnets, if you take my road that is, and that's the last part for the glasses. And that's all for the goggles. As I told you, it's really easy to make. Here you can see my method of clicking it on and off with the magnets. I really hope it was useful. I was aiming for this tutorial to show you guys that it's really easy to make because I got a lot of questions about it. And make sure to check out our Patreon, guys. We just started a Patreon with Team Chaos Cosplay. We're going to be doing amazing tutorials there, even better than this, a lot better, and really cool stuff, so make sure to check it out. The link is down below. I really love you guys. Thank you for watching this, and a big shout out to Cosplay Select Style, who is our sponsor for Forex and Sintra and Foam, and they are just simply amazing, so check them out. Alright, I love you guys. Bye bye.